Hey, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I'm going to go on a little ride, get something to eat, and talk about some reasons, or things I should say, to consider before buying the 2025 Indian Scout Bobber. Now again, this is all subjective. These are my reasons, not necessarily for, you know, your maybe reasons, but these are things you want to consider. I'm going to start with the price. So I traded this bike in for my, I traded my ZX-10 in for this bike after I crashed. And I was actually surprised to find out how inexpensive this bike was, considering, you know, it's an Indian. I mean, Indians have a great name. I was really shocked when I saw the sticker price. That's kind of what made me buy the bike. You know, I had a budget in mind, and I was like, you know, I looked at some other sport bikes, which I wanted to stay away from since, you know, I'm 56 years old, almost 57, and I don't need to be crashing again. Even though I love sport bikes. That's my jam. But anyway, I saw the price, and I think it started at $12,999. I think this one was used. It was it's a 2025, but it already had these mini apes. I get a lot of comments about the handlebars on this. It was missing the right mirror, which, no big deal, buy another mirror, which I did. But I think all told, with warranty and blah blah blah, it was like $13,000. So I was pretty surprised how inexpensive it was, comparable. So, you know, decided to get it, and I've never regretted it. So that's a big reason. So if you're not rich, like I'm not rich, but if you're not, you know, this is a bike that you absolutely can get, you know, and it won't break your bank. Now, the mods are something else to worry about. Getting fogged up here. You know, the mods on this are not cheap. And actually, you got to remember that as well. On a cruiser, an Indian, everything's going to be expensive, from the oil changes. I got an oil change, I think it was, I mean, unless you can do it yourself, which, you know, anybody can do this themselves, but I didn't want to mess around. I think it was like $200 just to have an oil change after 500 miles, so not cheap. You know, I mean, if you could do it yourself, I think even the OEM Indian parts were super expensive. You know, the Indian oil and the Indian air filter, everything. If it says Indian on it, it's going to cost you. Remember that. So yeah, you have to think of the maintenance of this bike. Now, if you take good care of it, like I do, you know, it won't fail you. You know, and you can just do preventive maintenance, get the oil changed, make sure the tires are good, you know, trickle charge it. I mean, I don't really have to trickle charge. That's going to be a whole nother video, is whether I should trickle charge this living in Florida. I get mixed reviews. People say, oh, you have to do it, and other people say you don't. So I'm going to buy one anyway and do it, but you don't have to. You know, I ride once a week. As long as you ride once a week, it should keep the battery charged. But you know, the maintenance costs are another thing, where on sport bikes it just seems like it's much more cheaper, you know. So keep that in mind. You know, the cost of the bike might not be bad, but fixing it might be. Fixing it actually is. Not might be, it will be. So that's something to also consider, and that's what I'm basically doing this video for, is if you're in the market and you're like, I don't know what to get, I'm just going to give you some talking points to think about, you know, if you're on the fence on this bike or not. Now, again, I'm not talking bad about this bike. I love this bike. I'm just giving you things to consider. You know, I wish I didn't look at things to consider before I bought this, but I'm happy about it. But you may not be, so that's why I'm making this video. Again, costs of maintenance. Anytime you have a cruiser and a luxury cruiser, well, I wouldn't say this is luxury, but anytime you have a high-end cruiser, i.e. Indian, it's going to be expensive. They cha-ching, especially if you have to take it to the dealership. And to my next point, you will have to shell out some money, because I guarantee, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, the first thing you're going to do is change the stock exhaust, because that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It looks like they call it the Cannon. It doesn't sound great, and it doesn't look great, in my opinion. Now, do you have to do it? No, but this bike sounds way more aggressive with the Vance and Hines, which, check out my other videos if you want to see the installation on that and a review on it. But yeah, you're going to want to change that, because this just makes it sound so much better. I don't know if you can hear it through the mic, but this sounds so much better. So you're going to want to do that, which the Vance and Hines, let's say you get the Vance and Hines, it was $549. You know, if you can find, it's a one-to-one, which means it was a direct replacement, so all the bolts line up, so you easily could do this yourself. So you're looking at $549 for that, and a lot of other ones, unless you get an Amazon one, which I don't recommend, or you get a Tab or whatever, a Dean Speed, which they just go up in price from there. But that's the first thing you're going to want to do. So just remember, when you get the bike, and you know, you might want to get handlebars like this, these Mini Apes, because the handlebars that come with it, I hear, are not the most comfortable thing to use. So think of that. So again, cost of maintenance, cost of upgrades. The seat's not the most comfortable. So again, if you're looking for a Mustang seat or something like that, it's going to be expensive. And this does not come with saddlebags, so if you want those too, this is all going to be money, you know. So keep that in mind. It's just a bobber. It's, you know, meant to be aggressive. So you're going to be putting some money out for stuff like that. I mean, I'll get to it, but I had to do the exhaust. The exhaust was a no-brainer, because it just was not to my liking. That's the first thing I did in my sport bike, was change the exhaust. If you know, being heard might save your life. So that was another thing. There's going to be a whole lot more. I'm going to go eat and then talk a bit more when on my ride home. But let's talk about another one. Maybe another thing to consider is the seat height. It's, I believe, 25.6 inches or something like that. So if I'm 5'10", and it's perfect for me. But if you're, let's say you're 6'3", 6'4", whatever, it might not be comfortable for you. It might be too short for you. And you know, that's something you might want, a little taller of a bike. That seat's a little taller. So that's another thing to consider. You know, like I said, I think it's comfortable, because with my ZX-10, sometimes I was tippy-toeing it, and you just don't feel controlled when your feet aren't hitting the ground. So that's one other thing. To me, it's a positive. If you're a tall person, it might be a negative. So that's just up to you. So consider that. So if you're 6'4" and you're buying this bike, you might go, "Oh my God, I'm uncomfortable. My back hurts. Whatever, blah blah blah," because you're so so much lower to the ground. Now, for control reasons, it's optimal, really optimal, because I love it. You just feel like you can control this bike much easier when you can touch the ground, your feet touch the ground. Look, as you can see, not a problem in the world. It's just I love it. So you might love it too, or you might not. This is where I'm going to eat, so I might just find the spot right here. kind of wanted to ride around, but I'm in an area where it's very, very hard to find a parking spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab something to eat, and we'll continue talking after I'm done and I'm on the ride home. So on the ride home, it'll probably be dark, which you'll see a night ride. So talk to you in a little bit. Stay tuned. All right, so we're back, and look how pretty she is. So we're going to finish this video talking some points of some things you need to consider before buying this bike. I started with some things like height of the seat, which as you can see is low. Cost of the bike, cost of repairs, cost of upgrades. You know, as you can see, my Vance and Hines exhaust, that's, like I said, the first thing you're gonna want to change, because it doesn't sound very aggressive when you turn it on. So we'll talk about a couple other things, and like I said, it'll be things that you want to consider before you buy this bike. You know, I didn't really, I bought it on a whim, and I didn't really think about it. I just did it, and I'm happy I did it. But, you know, you might not be that type of person. I will say this, though. I forgot to bring my clear face shield, so I have the visor up, so I will try to talk a little louder. It's probably going to be much louder, and the audio might not be great, so here's hoping. Here we go. Just had some potato skins, and here we go. Beautiful night for a ride, though. It's a little warm, but doable, considering we're in Florida and it's been so hot. All right, so where were we? So we were talking about some things about what you should consider before buying this bike, and I will continue on that. So let's think of another one. You know, one of the things that I'm not crazy about is this gas tank. It's 3.4 gallons, I believe. 3.4 gallons, which they say it's between 100 and 150 miles per the tank. I question that. It seems like I'm always getting gas. So keep that in mind if you are one of those people that wants to go on long trips, which that'll be another thing I talk about, is the comfort. So I'm getting gas all the time, and I don't really ride it super far. I mean, I don't know if it happened because I'm burning more gas because of the exhaust or not, but keep that in mind that you'll be buying gas. But I'm all right with that. The headlight on this thing is great, so I will say that. I think that's new for the 2025. As you can see, I see everything. Let's talk about comfort. To me, this thing is super comfortable, but again, going back to the height, if you're a much taller person, it might not be so comfortable. It is for me, but it might not be for you. A lot of times also people talk about the shocks, which I mentioned in a previous video. You know, going over bumps, that kind of thing isn't the most comfortable. But all that stuff can be changed, but it's not cheap. So keep that in mind. Again, goes back to the other thing I was saying. It's going back to the other thing I'm saying. All right, somebody go. So comfort is a plus. But I mean, I haven't ridden, and I'm basing this off of sport bikes. I've had nothing but sport bikes in the past, and you know, I actually don't mind the forward seating of a sport bike, but once I sat on this, I mean, this is comfortable, and actually with the mini apes, it's even more comfortable. I don't like the stock handlebars that come with this bike. I like these mini apes. They came with the bike, so I don't know what comes stock. I believe the regular bars come with this, you know, when you buy it brand new, so I'm not sure. But I have the, I like these mini apes. Oh, I just got to say, it is a beautiful night. There are so many bikes out here in Central Florida. My God, Christmas decorations already. Look at that. I mean, I love Christmas like the rest of the guys, but we didn't even have Thanksgiving yet, so I don't judge. So, comfort, the gas tank, cost. These are all, you know, if you consider them positives or negatives, I don't know. It's up to you. I'm just giving you information from a guy who owns one, so, you know, I'm not going to talk specs. I mean, I will talk at the 1250cc bike, so you have enough power. Is it the most powerful bike? Probably not, but it's enough power. And this thing, I'm going to touch on another subject, the weight of this bike. You know, it's 500 and something pounds, I think 543 with the tank full. And it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. My sport bike was much lighter, or I wouldn't say much lighter, but was lighter. And I'm telling you, that seemed way more heavier. So I don't know if, you know, the length of this bike, how it's low, and, you know, seems like it's a longer bike than a sport bike. You know, disperses the weight a little different, but. Like, you know, you don't feel tired after riding. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but on the sport bike, it was, you know, when you come to a stop sign, you had to hold it up. You had to. This one you don't have to. Like, literally, you can just sit there and your legs hold it up, and it's so comfortable. And I'm a strong guy. I mean, I'm a weightlifter, so. But to me, this is. You know, this one's so much more. Easier to maneuver too. I'm getting off track here, so. All right, it's gonna get loud because so I'll try to talk louder. So stupid me forgot my clear windscreen. She has pickup. She does have pickup. You won't be disappointed with the pull of this bike. To me, that's a plus. I often call this the sport cruiser, because if you see on my other videos, my son has the Boulevard Suzuki, and that thing's like it's way less cc's, but it feels 10 times heavier. What else drew me to this bike? All right, I hate doing this. I hate going through red lights, major intersections. But yeah, you know what else? This is a little pet peeve, but I have a blacked out bike and I have a chrome gas cap. I mean, come on. And then I looked up the gas cap for this. $90 for a black gas cap off of the Indian website. Like, are you serious? They've got to make an aftermarket. I just have to find it. And I'm not paying $90 for a black gas cap. But it does bug me. Let's see. I'm sure there's many other reasons. Oh, you know what? We're almost home, but I'm going to tell you one of the biggest reasons of all. You are going to be sick of saying thank you. And what do I mean by that? You are going to get so many compliments that you'll be sick of saying thank you, because I get it all the time. Hey, great bike. Hey, beautiful bike. Hey, nice bike. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a good thing. This bike draws attention. It just does. Believe it or not, when I saw it at the dealership, my eyes gravitated towards it, because it screams, you know, manly. Like, I don't know. Again, this is coming from a sport bike guy, but I love this bike. And I think you will too. An Indian doesn't pay me to say that. Although they should, because I talk the shit out of this bike. But yeah. So if you're on the fence, consider these few things. There's other things, obviously. But these were mine. I mean, I just wanted you to think about this before you bought it. And hopefully I sway you towards it if you're on the fence. That's why I wanted to ride while doing this. I was going to do this, you know, just walking around the bike. But I wanted you to hear it as I say this. Oh, and your neighbors probably won't like you when you buy this and you eventually get a different exhaust on it. I mean, are there ladder bikes? Yeah. I mean, we have a guy down the street with the Suzuki Boulevard MT-109, I believe it's called, the Boss. Now that thing's freaking loud. But, you know, this has I believe this has a DB killer in it too. So, and I don't want to remove it because I don't want it to be obnoxious. But here we are home. Home sweet home, and I made it home alive, and hopefully you do too. So, in conclusion, if you're on the fence, get it. I'm telling you, get it. Unless you're 6'5", then you might want to get a taller bike. But if you're just a normal guy like me, get this bike. You won't be sorry. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. Like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out. And God bless and be safe riding. Talk to you soon.